You're watching the 6:15 primetime newscast in the English language on Canal International. Thanks for joining us. My name is Gladys. Somebody must stay tuned for our major stories. The population of Toujours in the Adamawa region of Cameroon live in constant fear of the unknown following the growing rate of kidnappings for ransom and constant attacks from highway robbers. The population have called on government to step in and save them from the situation. And history has been made as Cameroon's first ever Navy vessel has crossed the Atlantic Ocean to Brazil at the port of Douala, where both vessels docked. The crews were saluted by military officials who described the crew's bravery and professionalism as worth emulating. And we take you to the Southwest region, where a team of members of the Parliamentary Network of Youth Advocacy of the National Assembly has paid a walking visit to some institutions in that part of the country to discuss strategies for the return of peace and boosting a digital economy in the crisis-hit parts of Cameroon. Those were major stories, developments right ahead. Thanks for joining us once again. You're watching the 6:15 primetime newscast in the English language. The population of Toujours in the Adamawa region of Cameroon are live with fear of the unknown as a ransom or kidnappers now kidnap for ransom, and most highway app robbers attack them constantly. The population has called on the government to step in and save them from the situation, as we hear in this report put together by Marinde.
Amos finally gets his freedom Sunday after spending 3 weeks in captivity. Traumatized, he spends time at the Toujours District Hospital for treatment. I was at the farm with my wife when they came from behind and attacked us. They told us not to move. Later on, they removed ropes and tied us, then took me away through a thick forest. Toujours subdivision is situated at the borders between two countries, that is, Chad and Cameroon. Inhabitants are gripped with the fear of the unknown. Kidnap for ransom is a growing phenomenon in the area. People are mostly kidnapped in farms and on deserted streets. Mata is another small village that is badly threatened by attacks from kidnappers, highway robbers, and other criminals. Inhabitants have constantly rallied to seek solutions in vain. Ferdinand was among 5 persons kidnapped in a farm last Monday. He was later released, but given a piece of paper with telephone numbers to go tell the story. We went to the farm. We were 5 in number. They came, they attacked us, tied everybody, but later released me and gave me a piece of paper with a number on it. A population that depends solely on agriculture for survival. A majority are gradually giving up as a result of the fear of the unknown. In some villages, list of kidnapped victims is in circulation. In the last 3 months in Toujours, we have had more than 70 people kidnapped, 10 killed, and over 10 million paid for ransom. Some villages are gradually being transformed into graveyards. Inhabitants have called on government to beef up security in Toujours in order to save lives and boost its economy.
Meantime, interreligious authorities have multiplied efforts for the return of peace in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon. That was the objective of a forum that rounded up in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, that brought together interreligious or the leaders of the three main religions and civil society organizations that took part in that forum. The details with Tyson Chia from Yaoundé.
It has been 3 days of serious consultations between interreligious authorities, Christians, Muslims, and African traditional believers coming together to seek peace, social cohesion, and strategic advocacy.
Every religion, Muslim, Christianity, and African traditional religion together, we are asking God to intervene, since it looks to me that the human nature has made the case more complicated than it should be. We hand it over to God, while at the same time trying to lobby for understanding with the powers that be.
The need to handle the peace battle from a religious perspective, far from the political dimension.
Things have been happening, things which the religious men and women should express themselves differently from politicians and others. And our work has been, how do we tackle the issue of peace in this country as religious men and women?
The forum has further empowered the religious authorities and civil society leaders on the notion of tolerance and living together, trusting God for His intervention, especially now that they are speaking in one voice.
God has His time and He has His plan, and we think that coming together to speak as one voice, one person, was very necessary, and that this voice will be heard by God, because God says it's with the community.
A platform highly projected by the National Communication Council.
The administration in the Tuba subdivision, as well as municipal councils have sealed all commercial shades of the Bambui market in the Mezam division of the northwest region of the country. The move carried out on Thursday is in respect of what they describe as outstanding arrears of rent for several years. The details of the story with Stephanie Chin.
At the Bambui market this Thursday morning, October 13, the divisional officer for Tuba gives the last warnings before ordering the sealing of all the commercial sheds for the prolonged non-payment of rents.
We have come to discover that there is no tenant, according to the records of the council, who owns any shed here. So we have proceeded in sealing all the sheds of the market to push now the businessmen in the shed to refer to the council and regularize their situation.
The move follows complaints from the municipal council, which has financial difficulties due to slow income flow. Backed by security forces, the Tuba council staff proceeded to placing the seal notice on each of the about 200 sheds of the market over accusation of bad faith.
For the past 10 years, the diner have not been paid to the council in respect of this agreement. And all those who have buying the shed have this, have been notified several. We had series of meetings with them all the time, trying to bring them to the notice that they are not be paying their rents.
Market shed landlords who got wind of the municipal action came around and held their own impromptu meeting in a separate corner, promising to sort out things with the mayor.
We have been asked to pay rent for our shed, our market shed. So they said we have to pay rent. That's rent for this month times the number of the months that we have been.
Some of the traders and population also seized the opportunity to voice out concerns on the poor state of the main road that links Bambui to Bambali, which further slows down economic activities.
And a team of members of the Parliamentary Network for Youth Advocacy of the National Assembly has paid a walking visit to some institutions in the Southwest region to discuss strategies for the return of peace and boosting digital economy in these crisis-hit parts of Cameroon. The details, Ines Ondwambala.
The Southwest region continues facing challenges related to the ongoing security crisis. Despite the socio-political unrest, Buea, its headquarters, is considered as the West African capital of digital economy, thanks to the Silicon Mountain. And so, in a bid to promote digital economy and to strive for the return of peace, a delegation of parliamentarians of the National Assembly has paid a walking visit to Buea's Southwest region.
The President of the National Assembly, with a heavy delegation of the National Assembly, is planning to be in the southwest region to try to see and better understand and probably as well advocate for the digital economy, which is a very important sector for the youth, and I think it will be tomorrow's most important industry in Cameroon.
The Joshua OC team, when visiting Southwest Governor, local authorities, and the University of Buea, bedrock of the digital economy. At the Buea Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Center, members of Parliamentarian Network for Youth Advocacy held discussion with ex-fighters.
We are as well preparing a call for peace while we'll be here, and that's why we had to go and see what is going on at the DDR Center here in Buea, and to talk to some of the authorities, first of whom is the governor, to try to see how Parliament can better contribute to usher peace back into the Southwest region.
It is worth noting that this mission is in preparation of the upcoming visit of the President of the National Assembly to the Southwest region with aim of bringing back peace in this part of the country.
And inhabitants of the Ngomo-Ekuno neighborhood in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, have been reassured of the completion of the construction of their roads by the end of 2022. And in a walking visit earlier this week, the Yaoundé City Mayor, Luc Messi Atangana, urged the denizens to take off all structures by the roadsides or will face the repression phase later. The details with Hyson Chia.
It is over 3 months gone as rehabilitation works on this stretch of road, Ekununkumu, in the capital city, started, and the city mayor, Luc Messi Atangana, is here to take stock of the work progress and review the hitches. While here, we can say the work is unfolding well. Our working visit has also permitted us to know the difficulties of the construction enterprise. So I have given some elements to surpass such challenges. After a critical evaluation of the over 2 kilometers road project, the local authority and technicians reassure the population of the respect of the delivery deadline. The workers have assured us that the road will be delivered on or before the deadline, which is December 25th this year, so the road will be open before Christmas. And inhabitants appear quite satisfied with the work evolution.
This road, we have been suffering here. Yeah, so it's a nice job. Because at first there used to be traffic here now. Yes, at least. Now everything is okay now.
The Yaoundé City Mayor used the opportunity to sensitize the population to take off all temporary structures mounted by the roadsides or wait for the massive demolition by council agents in the days ahead.
And history has been made as Cameroon's first ever Navy vessel have crossed the Atlantic Ocean to Brazil at the port of Douala, where both vessels docked. Their crews were saluted by military officials who described the crew's bravery and professionalism as worth emulating. Morindi was at the port and now describe the ambience. Her report.
Euphoria following the return of 2 Cameroonian Navy fleets from an expedition to Brazil. CNS Tem and CNS La Sanaga left the ports of Douala August 12th as part of the Sea Lions expedition. The 2 fleets moored at the Douala seaport on Thursday, October 14, 2022.
A milestone for our Navy. It is in fact for the very first time that our Navy has to cross the ocean. And we actually did it. And during this cruise, we had to cross the equator and Greenwich parallel for 2 times.
The crew of both vessels were saluted by military officials for their bravery and professionalism.
Very, very few, if not 1 or 2, African Navy itself of Sahara has already crossed the Atlantic Ocean.
Families, friends and colleagues could not hide their joy as they hugged each other, thanking God for protection. The mission of both vessels to Rio de Janeiro has gone down history as the first Cameroon Navy to cross the Atlantic Ocean in record time.
Meantime, maritime agents in Garoua will henceforth equip themselves with mates in Cameroon safety devices thanks to a project that will soon go operational in the North Regional headquarters. Samples of the jackets were presented during a meeting as well as demonstrations on how the life jackets could be used to prevent drowning. The details in this report.
Life jackets are essential to prevent drownings during boat-related accidents. With the busy nature of the Benue River in Garoua, a unit for the fabrication of life jackets and other marine safety flotation devices is offering made in Cameroon life jackets to marine agents. Councils must use these life jackets in their localities, and the boat we have in the Benue River can sail through the high sea. If everyone respects the set vision, we must not expect only boats from Douala to reach the high sea. We are here to motivate investors and business persons to think beyond their capacities. We need to have boats that belong to sons of the soil. At this meeting that brought together members of the Marine Trade Union and business persons, samples of life jackets were presented and demonstrations made on how to use them to avoid drowning. Cinemac is a project for the construction of boats and life jackets, which are important for the security of maritime agents. Cinemac is a huge project which will bring a lot of changes here. So we have to get to work and start to sensitize the population on what they stand to gain from the project. Port workers, those at the care and sellers now have the opportunity to equip themselves with life jackets and vests made in Cameroon.
And which forecast on the rate of inflation in the Central African sub-region to reach 5.2% by 2023, the Bank of Central African States, BIAC, has taken measures to contain the situation by tightening access to loans. But experts say it is not a solution to the inflationary situation because it is not the matter of a greater circulation of currency, but rather exogenous factors such as the Russian-Ukrainian conflict and the health pandemic. The details in this report.
The Bank of Central African States, BIAC, increasing interest rates on loans to limit the ability of commercial banks to inject money into economies as a measure to control rising inflation currently at 4.6% in the sub-region, has been described as counterproductive.
We don't think that it will solve it because we have many other problems that are not financial, that are more political.
The bank has raised its main refinancing rate from 4% to 4.5% and its marginal lending facility rate from 6.25% to 6.75%. Experts emphasize there are other measures that could control the soaring inflationary rates already above the community threshold, such as improving local production.
If treasury bonds are sold, it will withdraw money from the hands of citizens. And the next thing that can be done is price controls. You see, if the government decides to put a cap, a maximum on certain prices, price of certain, especially basic commodities, is going to help out. And then the next thing that can be done is there should be an encouragement of local production. That is one thing that we actually lack. in this our sub-region and in Cameroon in particular.
It's an opportunity for us to improve the local production of our cereal, maize, corn, rice, and even fish.
Experts explain that within the current context, the rising inflation in the sub-region is not the consequence of greater currency circulation, but rather provoked by exogenous factors like the Russian-Ukrainian conflict and the health pandemic.
That report takes us to the end of today's edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. The French edition will be yours at 7:50 p.m. with Alain Gislain Kanga. Up next is the brief de l'actualité du sport. But up to then, you have a wonderful time watching programs on Canal International. Bye-bye.